Hello everyone, my name is For Extraordinaire, and unfortunately I have to say that I did not want to be making this video today because there have been a lot of problems with the first release of the Civ 6 Leader Pass, which I will be covering in depth in this video, but I just wanted to gloss over the fact that this caught me completely by surprise, and I was not really anticipating the sheer amount of bugs, the incompatibilities with the launcher, and the flat-out underwhelming leader bonuses that this pass has presented. And I want to get into that because I was caught off guard on the stream that I did yesterday, or for those of you viewing, it was basically the day before this video was posted, and it's just shocking that Firaxis would release the pass in such a state as a premiere first taste of what the pass has to offer. So I want to talk about that. Bugs aside, a lot of these leader abilities are flat out uninteresting. I just did not like them. For example, Nzinga's ability is incredibly basic, and it is quite similar to some of the previous leader abilities like Victoria's and Lady Six Sky, where they focus on developing a civilization and sticking to your continent or going off of your continent. And really, they either encourage exploration or turtling, and I think a lot of civs do it better. Her bonus is incredibly basic with a flat-out plus 10%, minus 15% modifier, which is just incredibly underwhelming, and it is very, very simple and straightforward. Saladin's leader ability is also fairly straightforward, and it is a flat-out plus 100% non-conditional flanking bonus to both military units and religious units, which can be crazy, I assume, if played into the right hands. I haven't tested it out too much, but it seems like it could be very, very good if you set it up correctly. Now, don't get me wrong, I love strategic implications, but again, there is nothing aside from this ability. It is just a straight flanking bonus, and you don't need to do anything to earn that bonus. I really feel like we're back to where we left off with the initial release of Vanilla Civ 6 and the basic abilities that were presented with it. On the plus side, I really like the new animations and the leader designs they've gone for with Julius, with Nzinga, with Abe. I think most of them are very polished, they're clean, they are nice compared to what we had with the New Frontier Pass and reused leader animations. And while I think this pass also reuses some leader animations, I do like the design overall. I think the leader choices are very nice and relevant and culturally flavorful. They pick some familiar and some unfamiliar leaders, which is great for representation, but again, I just cannot get over the fact that their abilities are so basic. Take Caesar, for example, with his gold ability. I mean, you get gold from raiding encampments and cities. Like, you could have designed that in 10 minutes. It is not that complex. I mean, it has good scaling, but there's not that much thought into the gameplay side of it. It doesn't add too much flavor to a civ. You could give this to any civ and it could be more or less the same. There's nothing that really synergizes well with Rome about this, aside from perhaps building or buying out a few aqueducts with the right civics or the right golden age decisions. So really, I think they could have put a lot more thought, and a lot, when I say a lot, I mean a lot more thought into the design process for this pack. I feel like there's an additional irony as well, because this is the Diplomacy Leader Pass, and yet the abilities of some of the Civ 6 leaders introduced like Lincoln are militarist and warmongering. So it's really a gross disconnect, I feel, between the developers and a lot of the players, because this pass is getting absolutely bombed at the Steam reviews page. So I don't really blame the people reviewing, because it's really an unmitigated disaster, and unfortunately we are all here for it. Another issue I hear a lot of people had, and my chat was lighting up yesterday when I did my stream, and I haven't done a stream in a while, so it's really telling because people normally don't watch my streams. They're not that masochistic enough to inflict that pain and that suffering upon themselves by watching my streams. But self-deprecation aside, it was so sad and disheartening to see so many people in the stream and in the stream chat trying to figure this out. I tried to help to the best of my ability, but not being a tech guy, I could only do so much. And it's just really bizarre that there was no testing prior to this, and there was really no QA oversight in regards to the release and launch date for the first wave of this pack. This is not how a lot of fans, such as myself, anticipated this going forward, and I've said this earlier, and I don't want to harp on it too much, but Firaxis did, at least to their credit, release a patch a few hours after However, it did not go as intended. I think people were still being charged. For example, I had to pay actually $20 when it was promised that it would be free for anthology owners and owners of all of the DLC. So I'm not sure what they were thinking with how they launched this again, but I'm hoping they at least get this feedback and take it into consideration as they have done in the past, because this is not acceptable. I really pray and hope, and if you guys in the comments can also let me know if you've had any problems, that this gets resolved as quickly as possible. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to make of this, because humankind, and I try not to rope them, but I end up roping them into every conversation with Civ 6. I have to, since it is a big competitor. But at least they managed to release a somewhat stable expansion. It had bugs, it had a few issues, but this is deleting your DLC files. Like, come on. People are trying to get back into Civ 6. This game has been running for 6 years. It's hard to believe, almost 7. And this is what we get, essentially. It seems like a punishment almost for putting our faith back in Firaxis as a leader of 4X games, of the 4X historical strategy sandbox simulator genre, whatever you want to call it. It's just embarrassing. That said, I do have some high hopes for the upcoming leaders. I think Ramses could be really cool if he is more creative than what we got currently with the 3 or so leaders, basically like 2.5 leaders with some of the abilities we got. So I'm hoping there's at least some unique monuments, maybe some unique buildings or districts similar to what Christina got and some of the other leaders in Gathering Storm in past expansions, maybe to spice some things up, because we need a bit more thought put into this pass. This is going to be a massive money dump if it is not at least thoroughly thought through. If there's not any planning involved, I think it'll be a complete and total waste of my time and your guys' time. So I'm hoping, I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy, but when money is on the line, when you're charging $20 for passes like this for newer players, you leave a really bad impression and a bad taste in their mouth when you fail to deliver on such simple things, such as not having your DLC be deleted from your game when you try to install this new DLC. So I hope all of this gets fixed. I really hope you guys have a smoother experience, and I'm sorry this happened, but this Firaxis needs to get its shit together. I don't know how many other ways I can say it. But thank you guys so much. This has been a really negative video, but I'm, again, putting my chips in Firaxis getting it together, I think. But thank you guys again for supporting the channel. If you want to watch my disaster of a live stream where I try to cobble through the DLC and my initial reactions, you can do that. It's actually playing right in front of you. So if you want to check that out, it's going to be in the right-hand corner of the video if you want to click on the link. Otherwise, I will be doing further Civ 6 coverage, hopefully more positive in the future. So if you want to watch that, you can. But again, thank you guys. Love you guys. Hope to see you guys later. This has been 4 Extraordinaire, and peace.